That's right. Today on The Debaters, Talkmates will be arguing, Africa, can we attribute the key challenges we face to our leaders or to our people? It's going to be the head-to-head and persuasive speeches today. All Talkmates have been asked to prepare for both sides of the argument. Oluwatoyinbo, you will be the persuasive speaker today, and the role is that of a political scholar who makes a presentation on the need for citizens to take action to ensure that the change they want becomes evident. Oluwatoyinbo.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I consider it a huge privilege to speak to you today about the greatness of our continent. This is not a speech laced with empty promises and political platitudes. It is a call to a higher level of responsibility. Our continent, Africa, is endowed with the most desirable resources, yet encumbered by the most dreaded challenges. We are crippled by corruption, plagued by poverty, scarred by several social vices, sexually transmitted diseases, and pseudo-democracy. But before we lambast our leaders for our woes, let us swallow the bitter pill of truth. We, the African people, are the creators of a calamity. We claim that our leaders are more interested in eating the proverbial national cake than in baking it. Yet, we refuse to lend our voices in the political arena because we claim that politics is a dirty game. Do we not do ourselves a great disservice when we stand aloof and allow men who are ill-prepared to take up the reins of power? Only 45% of Africans ever vote. The remaining 55% boycott the process or disrupt it. Besides, we ought to be the conscience of our nation, to hold our leaders accountable for their decisions. But what do we do in Africa? We play the role of sycophants. We roll out red carpets for leaders we ought to criticize. We offer them honorary degrees and chieftains titles. We can do better. Furthermore, we need to change our mindset. The mindset that claims that the government is Santa Claus with a bag of gifts. It's time for us to take responsibility. In conclusion, it's easy for us to claim that our leaders are corrupt because they're in the spotlight. But what about us in the privacy of our lives? What about the medical doctor who issues a false medical report? The accountant who falsifies financial statements and siphons company funds? The law enforcement agent who is swayed by smugglers' bribes? What about you and the money you slip into the hands of those policemen at every other checkpoint just to get off their hook? Good people of Africa, it's time for us to arise. The change we need will not come from any government house. It will come from your house and my house. If we are better people, we will create better societies. So let us arise from Cairo to Cape Town, from Kigali to Kinshasa, from Lagos to Libreville, and light up the world with the brightness of our glory. Thank you.
Oluwatoyinbo, 45% of Africans vote, and yet we still have the chaos we have on the continent today. What three things would you tell the African voter to look out for in creating the leadership that we desire?
The first thing is we need to have a leader who creates a compelling picture of a desirable future. We can't just follow anyone who has a lot of words but cannot create that picture. And one of the ways we know he can create the picture is by looking at what he has done without a political platform. A platform is a system that gives you the opportunity to express what you are already. Political offices do not change individuals. So the first thing is, let us check their track records. The second thing is we must hold ourselves accountable because they are citizens who disrupt elections. Our leaders don't show up to steal ballot boxes. It's our neighbors, our friends, the hoodlum down the street. So we have a responsibility to play the role of security personnel even during elections. The third thing is to rally everybody in the house. Your voice is your vote. So if you don't cast it, you're losing out on an opportunity that might not return for another 4 years. So with these three things, I believe that we'll be on the right track to greatness.
Remy, it's up to you now.
Yeah. To be frank, I thought that was an extremely inspiring speech. In fact, I was kind of thinking, wow. But you know, I haven't heard anybody talk about unity. It's all well and good to say, let's do this, let's do that. But one of the challenges we have in Africa today is the problem of being united. What do we do about that?
We start one person at a time, like I mentioned earlier. Unity is not something that should elude us because we're individuals, we have different attributes and traits. But what we need to do is to manage our differences and build on our strengths. The root cause of this unity is when we have people who feel like they're superior to others or others who think they're inferior to others. But it takes a lot of understanding to understand that someone might be different from you in terms of their skill set, their backgrounds, their exposure, but it doesn't make them any less. We cannot change our society except we come together. I mean, my grandfather used to tell me, he's late now of blessed memory, used to tell me that it's easy for you to break one broomstick, but when you have different broomsticks coming together, you know, one broomstick doesn't care how the other one looks or how much longer it is, they're in a bunch. And we can clean up the dirt in our nation when we stop being individual broomsticks, but we come together in a bunch with unity to get the job done.
Okay, you haven't fully convinced me, but thank you very much.